Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so happy you could join us tonight. Welcome to the Freshman Extravaganza at McHenry High School. Normally, this night would be in person. Tonight, your special treat, it is virtual. We are so excited to have you here with us. I am Dr. Jeff Prickett. I'm the principal here at McHenry High School. Before I get to introduce all these fantastic people here that you see on the screen with you, we're going to have a little translation activity, and then I'll be right back with you. Ms. Zarañana?
Hola, bienvenidos a todos. En este momento, esta presentación nos vamos a ponerlo en nuestro sitio web del distrito, todo en español. Pero por esta presentación esta noche, si quieres verlo, puedes configurar los subtítulos en español sobre YouTube. Entonces, aquí son nada más las direcciones para hacer eso. Primero, no puedes pausar este video en este momento, pero puedes empezar con presionar el icono de subtítulos. Ahí está el chiquitito foto ahí. Tienes que hacer un clic. Después de eso, presiona el icono de configuración. Y después de eso, selecciona subtítulos o subtitles. Va a aparecer una casita donde dice subtitle. La próxima proceso puedes seleccionar Auto Translate ahí en esta próxima caja y después selecciona el idioma que quieres para los subtítulos. Entonces, después de que nosotros empezamos a hablar en inglés, abajo en la pantalla vas a ver los subtítulos en español. Entonces, sí vamos a grabar en inglés, pero también vamos a grabarlo en español y poner el enlace en nuestra página web del distrito. Vamos a quedarnos aquí en esta página para que ustedes puedan tomar una foto de las direcciones o dar a ustedes unos minutitos para hacer eso y para configurar los subtítulos en español para ustedes. Mr. Prickett, can we give us like 10 seconds just if people want to take a picture of this? Give them a couple,
you bet. You bet.
So that they can go ahead and follow these directions.
Thank you, Ms. Zarañana. So there you have it. I appreciate that. And if you want to get a screenshot of those directions right now to make sure that you can turn on the auto translate, that would be great. Okay. All right. Thank you once again. And here we go, everybody. Here we go. I'm so thrilled that you could join us tonight. Again, my name is Dr. Prickett. I am the principal here at McHenry High School. This is the Freshman Extravaganza. You're going to learn so many great things. Like tonight is the night. Tonight is the night to get excited and start really thinking about your freshman year. We know that you've already selected courses, and we're so thrilled to be able to welcome you into the freshman campus next year. How exciting is that? Before we get into a little bit more of the nuts and bolts of this thing, I want to introduce some fantastic people for you, some key people that you're going to want to know and get to know at the freshman campus next year when you are a freshman. So not only myself, but tonight we have here with us Mrs. Kyle Hobson. She's the associate principal at the freshman campus. Hi, Mrs. Hobson. We have Mr. J.R. Boshin, school counselor for you if your last name begins with A through L-E. Miss Stephanie Zarañana, who is the school counselor for multilingual learners, plus if you have the last names LF through Z, she will be your counselor. Miss Veronica Eggert, she's the social worker at the freshman campus. Mrs. Marina Nelly, who is the division chair of special education. Hi, Mrs. Anelli, glad you're here tonight. Mr. Scott Morris himself, the special education coordinator. Yes, sir. Glad to see you tonight, Mr. Morris. And finally, last but not least, Mrs. Jackie Rubio, who is the division chair of multilingual learners and academic supports. So this is the team. This is your core administrative and directive team at the freshman campus, your guidance team, your social worker. If you have any problems at all next year, these are the people who you're going to want to see. Okay? So as we get into this, we really are excited about this venture. It's brand new. It's a new era for McHenry High School. And we want to make sure that as a freshman, you understand that we are expecting you to start with success. And we feel like this is the greatest opportunity for you to do that, to really start out your high school career with success all together as freshmen, really experiencing high school, learning and growing together, exploring academics, athletics, and activities. There are multiple opportunities for you next year, not only at the freshman campus, but to get over to the upper campus as well, to explore all those extracurricular activities and athletics. You'll have the opportunity to focus on what it means to experience the high school, understand what it means to be a warrior, really immerse yourself in the warrior culture before heading over to the upper campus together. At the freshman campus next year, we have available to you regular and honors core courses, including AP Human Geography, ninth grade PE with more choice and facility space, Spanish 1, French 1, German 1, introductory art and freshman music, introductory pathway electives, and so much more. This is just a little taste of next year. So we really are excited for you to come and join us next year at McHenry High School freshman campus, starting with success. Mrs. Hobson.
Hello, thanks, Dr. Prickett. Hello, everybody, and welcome. So I'm going to start with just talking about the question that may be at the forefront of everyone's mind, and that's the basics, the structure of the day. So when you come and start here, what does a day look like for a student? So we have an 8-class period day. Periods 4, 5, and 6 are student lunch, and each class period is 45 minutes. Everybody in the building will start their day with AIM, which is a built-in focused academic period that's 35 minutes long. This period is really a common time for all students and teachers to meet in order for students to seek help, support, do makeup assignments, do makeup tests and quizzes. There's also going to be weekly lessons during our AIM support period. And our freshmen will be working with senior leaders or maybe the AIM teacher on important lessons regarding aspects of high school, such as getting involved, self-advocacy, how to use Schoology, what are the tools in Schoology that you can use to be a better student, and then also how to use email, and maybe even how to write an email to your teacher so that you're coming across in a way that you're communicating well. This slide right here is more for parents. There are 2 online platforms that parents are going to become familiar with at the freshman campus and in District 156. The first one, and I mentioned these last week, but I'm going to get into them a little bit more detail today. So Skyward is our student information system. We use this platform for enrollment. This is for lunch money. Attendance will be in Skyward, and then also fee management. One thing that I do want to say about this that I want to make everyone aware of is that District 156 or District 15 also has Skyward, but it is not the same as the Skyward that District 156 has. So it's going to look a little bit different when you log in and see your child's information in there. And then the other thing that I want to point out too right now is that currently our freshmen are engaging in the course selection process. In about a month and a half, we are going to start the online registration process. And this process is more of a time where parents can go into the system and update any important student information that needs to be updated. And so I just wanted to point that out because sometimes that is a point of confusion for people, that course selection and online registration are 2 different things. And we'll be sending out information on that. The other online platform that is going to become very important for parents is Schoology. And in Schoology, this is where you're going to find all of the course materials for all of your students' courses, including grades, assignments, due dates. There's a calendar. This is a very important tool for parents to become familiar with, as it's going to really be the gateway for all of the information that you will need for monitoring your student and knowing what's happening in the courses that they're taking. Next up, we have Mr. Boshin and Ms. Zarignana, who are going to talk about some school counseling things.
Thanks, Ms. Hobson. So one of the common themes that seems to be stated a lot through this presentation is freshman success. And so what we wanted to do is kind of explain a little bit more about what goes into successful students, at least the students that we've had in the past that have been successful. And so really it boils down to three things. And the first would be the academics. And so while you guys are all going through the course selection process, we want to make sure that you guys are choosing courses that are, appropriate and challenging, and making sure that you're making the most of your academic opportunities. The second phase to that would be attendance. Obviously, this year has been a challenging year for everyone. In a typical year, though, attendance is one of the major factors that determines student success. And so we want to make sure that you guys are present and making the most of those opportunities. The third would be the activities or athletics. So students that get involved in school in one way, shape, or form tend to be more successful as well. And so, again, just encouraging you to take advantage of all of those opportunities that we have to offer. I do also want to point out that on this slide, we do have some of those resources listed on the left-hand side, both a link to the Student Services Department and a link to our summer school program. So you have a little bit more information about those opportunities. The last thing that I do want to mention is we do realize that you still have to finish your 8th grade year. And so we just want to remind students that, make the most of your time in 8th grade and finish the year strong. With that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Zarinyana.
Thank you, Mr. Boshin. So on our next slide here, I know Ms. Hobson had mentioned earlier, a couple slides back, that right now you guys are in the middle of your course selection process. And so it's really important that, as a reminder, those selection forms are due tomorrow. And so you can either submit those digitally through the link that was emailed to you, or you can go ahead and make sure you mail out that copy to East Campus. But it's also important that, just kind of as a refresher, on our next slide here coming up, that we do have, an example of that 8-period schedule for you guys to utilize when you're selecting your elective courses. We've been hearing there's a little bit of discrepancy when it comes from the box that's on that course registration sheet. So know that you are trying to fill those 7 slots, right? Because we're not going to really count lunch in there right now. But this is a great just kind of visual for you guys to look at, to know how to fill in the appropriate electives. And then, like Mr. Boshin said earlier, right, we really try to encourage our students to pick with a purpose. Make sure you're choosing electives, that coincide with types of career pathways that you're really interested in pursuing, and, hopefully working your way through once you finish at the freshman campus and move on to the upperclassmen campus. So again, please remember tomorrow those course selection forms are due. I know that a ton of you have been reaching out, and we very much appreciate it. So feel free again to reach out with any questions or concerns that you may have, or just to make sure that it was submitted, whatever have you. We are here to help. But again, this is a great visual to kind of go off of, take a picture of. This is going to be recorded, and we'll hopefully post it on the district website. So if you need to rewatch it and just kind of get a refresher, you can definitely do so. And with that, I think we're going to move on to our next presenter.
Thank you, guys. Next up, we have Mrs. Rubio, who will be talking about academic supports.
Hi there. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the academic supports we have at the freshman campus. So as part of our district plan of academic supports, we offer many ways for students to get help with their classes. The Core Academic Center, or CAC, is staffed with expert math and reading teachers who help students improve their math, reading, and writing skills in a supportive environment. Students who have been recommended for extra math or reading and writing support will see CAC on their schedule, and these students will meet with a teacher during that period to get extra math or literacy support, as well as help with their assignments. The Core Academic Center also functions as a drop-in center for any student who would like to go there for help with their math or reading and writing assignments. We also work with different student organizations such as National Honor Society, Spanish National Honor Society, and Key Club to connect students with peer tutors for support. Our student support teams meet regularly to determine appropriate supports for students who need help. If a student begins to struggle academically or social emotionally throughout the school year, the team will determine the best supports to put in place in order to help that student succeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Rubio.
Yep. Next up, we have Mrs. Eggert, who will talk about our social emotional learning.
Good evening. So some of the things that I wanted to talk about is just freshman year, can be, exciting. And, sometimes students do need to kind of reach out for some extra support. So some of the things that we have planned, for the social emotional learning throughout the year is we are starting monthly themed SEL activities. So we will have presentations. We'll be going into the lunchrooms just to do, presentations on a variety of topics. For example, this month is healthy relationships. We also kind of do some PSA stuff regarding anxiety and depression. We'll also do some classroom presentations. In the health classes, we'll do some depression curriculum and some suicide awareness. We'll also go into issues of 21st century regarding some public speaking and just learning about the resources. And we'll also be doing some English class presentations as well regarding some of the novels and some of the readings they'll be doing in class. We also offer psychoeducational groups as well as some individual support as needed as, things come up or, running groups regarding specific topics or areas of need. We also do, some support the special education students. We also have a chemical dependency counselor that works with us, and we have some referrals that you can directly make or we might make as staff for students. We also work really closely with our families. So if there is a need, whether it's social, emotional, financial resources, or whatever the need that might, come up throughout the year or even into the further years into the other campus, we work really hard to support our families and connections to community supports and resources. We'll also be doing coffee with student services. We're hoping to do that at least quarterly, where you can kind of stop in, hopefully stop in next year. If not, we'll maybe do it some virtual, but definitely just to kind of get to know us and what we can do, to offer support for our students and our families. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Eggert. And Dr. P, you're finishing up with the Distinguished Warrior. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Not yet.
It was Mrs. Anelli and Mr. Morris for special ed. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Hobson. Good evening, everyone. Our special education team is committed to providing a supportive learning environment so our students with special needs can develop academic, social, emotional, vocational, and life skills. We do offer a full continuum of services for students. Services can range from support in general education classes to specialized instructional courses. We provide related services such as social work services, like mentioned by Ronnie, speech and language services, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and such. We also provide interventions specific academic, social emotional learning, or executive functioning. We'll support in transition planning and also case management.
Good evening, everyone. It's Mr. Morris here. I am the special ed coordinator here at the Academy as we move into next year. Many of you have probably seen me already in our transition meetings down at the MMS, and we'll be hitting the rest of those up very soon. So if you've not had your meeting, you haven't had the pleasure to meet me yet. So we'll continue to meet with you guys. I'm going to be your main contact at the Academy for any special ed related services or questions or issues you may have. I'm available now if you need it. You can feel free to reach out with my contact information that's been provided. I'm looking forward to it. Met some great kids already. Very excited about this new Academy and serving the freshmen, getting them ready. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll leave you with one thought, just one school, one goal. Warrior ready, people. Let's go.
Go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bring the energy, Mr. Morris. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. And so just a couple more words for you tonight. If you were not familiar, maybe you are, maybe you have older students who've been through the high school, either at East or West Campus. so you're familiar with the Distinguished Warrior Graduate Program. And what we are doing here at the freshman campus is making sure that students are prepared by the time that they leave us in their first year, with understanding that to really focus in on that Distinguished Warrior Program. It doesn't have to be so huge. You don't have to worry about all 25 community service hours that you need to get in order to qualify for Distinguished Warrior status. Freshman year, you're just going to focus on 6 hours. 6 hours of community service and 6 credits. Those are the things that you really need to have a great first start at the freshman campus, to be on your way to qualify for Distinguished Warrior status. So 6 credits, 6 community service hours, being involved in activities, athletics, and academics, because there are certain requirements that you need to be involved in either clubs or activities throughout the year, and we can, throughout your 4 years, and we can get into that a little more. But really what we really want you to focus on this first year are those couple of things, and the freshman portion of the Distinguished Warrior Graduate Program is called Be Distinguished. So that's what we really want to focus on. How do you be distinguished during your freshman year? How do you become immersed in that warrior culture? Well, this is one of the things, these are 2 easy ways to do it, really 3. Get involved, focus on your 6 credits, and focus on 6 hours of community service. Then you'll be on a great start towards Distinguished Warrior status by the time you graduate and leave us in 4 years. We're so thrilled about that. We're so excited for you in your freshman year, and we really just can't wait to see all of you. And I believe that it is time. What we're going to do is take a couple of questions that you've thrown in the chat. If you have any more questions for us beyond our time here tonight, we're going to honor everyone's time. And if you have any more questions for us by the end of that, then you can feel free to. I'm going to put this back up on the screen so that you'll have our email addresses and names in case you need to reach us. So take a screenshot of that, and I'm going to bring our wonderful staff at the freshman campus back in, and if there are any questions here, I'm going to put them up on the screen in just a minute. So
I'll start while you get everybody back. There's some questions or some comments in the feed regarding people who have not received the course selection sheets. If you have not received the course selection sheets, just send me an email and I will get them to you tomorrow, as soon as I get your email.
There you go. Thank you, Mrs. Hobson. Another question that we wanted to answer tonight, one of our counselors can take this, if you would please clarify how many electives that kids are supposed to choose their freshman year is the question. Thank you, Veronica Roman.
You want this one, or should I take it?
I'll take it.
Okay.
So how many electives are children supposed to choose from? So based on our sheet, it kind of really depends on what your core placements are. Those core placements are already going to be labeled there in those boxes on the front of the course registration sheet. So for example, your core classes are going to be your English placement, your math placement, your science placement, and then your social science, and then your PE. So for all of those core placements, they are all going to take up a full year, meaning both semesters spot in a schedule, except for social science. You could have a placement of issues of the 21st century, which is actually a 1 semester class, or AP Human Geography is your other placement that you could have on the form. AP Human Geo is actually a full year, so it fills up that first semester and second semester spot. So that's why I said it depends on what your core placements are, because for example, if you had issues in your schedule, that means you would have 1 semester of an elective spot open for second semester. If you had AP Human Geo, right, that takes up the full year. So that's why once we were able to put this presentation up on the website, and we did also have a course registration selection presentation as well, where we have tons of visuals for parents and students to look at. I've been telling parents the easiest thing to do is write down on a piece of paper periods 1 through 8, fill them all in visually, and just kind of see where those spaces fall. And that's how many electives you're going to want to select on the second page.
And make sure that if you number from 1 to 8, that you fill in a lunch for one of those periods. But
Correct.
like Miss Zarignana said, that visual, that graphic is extremely helpful when you're trying to figure out how many courses that you need to choose.
Great. Thank you both. I'm going to throw up another question here from Miss Alice Diaz here. This is a great question. Is having a study hall better than having no study hall? So I'll throw it out to the panel, and any one of you can tackle that.
I would say it depends on the student. We have some students that are taking extremely challenging courses, and so they, need that time to work on homework to balance everything else that they're doing in their lives. We've had some kids that, they don't see that study hall time as a valuable time for them, and they'd rather be in another class learning. So it really depends on your student and how independent they are and organized, and how their time management skills are.
I'd like to add too, what's great is that you don't have to pick a study hall for the full year. A lot of times parents, if they're kind of on the edge of, should my student have a full year or not, I'd like to recommend try it out for the first semester and see if that's something that that you will need based on your coursework. Then we can, add it in later, or if not, then we can take away that second semester and able to kind of slide in an elective in its place.
Great. Thank you very much. All right, everybody. We appreciate you coming out tonight. We're so thrilled to invite you to the freshman campus next year. Again, just the new era of McHenry High School, and we couldn't be more thrilled. We have a great year planned for you. Somebody asked if we're going back hybrid or we're going to come back full in person, and that's really hard to tell at this time. I mean, it'll depend on what the metrics say, and if the metrics say that it's allowed and that we can do so safely, then we would love nothing better. I mean, everybody here wants to come back fully in person. I know that kids do. I know that parents want them to. I, as a parent, want my kids to be back full time, and this, we can't wait for that. We know what's going to happen. We're very hopeful for that. We see the silver linings, and we really are looking forward to that. So answers to that will come up as we progress through the summer and the end of the year here. And so if you have further questions for us, please make sure you take a screenshot of this screen that's up right now with our names and emails. Reach out to us. We're more than happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you all so much for coming tonight. We cannot wait to see you for freshman year. Have a great night, everybody.